UNESCO's global mandate and mission is to build peace, eradicate poverty, and drive sustainable development through education, science, and culture. The social, economic, and environmental dimensions of 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development is underpinned by the key pillars. People must be at the center of development, prosperity, and partnerships, and protecting our planet. These are the very key fundamental pillars that underpin the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. The focus on rural education aligned with 2030 Agenda is the primary focus of discussion by all the stakeholders attending the dialogue today. There are good models and best practices of social and economic development in rural areas in many developing countries. For instance, China had embarked on rural revitalization policy that is basically designed to revitalize and improve the standard of living of people in rural areas in China. China's 2035 Education Modernization Plan or strategic plan is to reform and modernize the current education system. Another success story, as you all know, in China as of 2020, China has eradicated extreme poverty of over 700 million people. At UNESCO, we have always advocated that education is the key to poverty alleviation and empowering rural population to get out of the cycle of poverty. The mission and mandate of Category 2 Center INRULED since its establishment was to promote rural education for sustainable development for many years. And they've done some wonderful research and prepared some good reports on rural education and on a number of related thematic areas. As global trends show, there is a significant proportion of people that live in rural areas and in nearly all the countries and regions. And also, as the Japanese speaker, professor highlighted, we now also have reverse migration as well. And also migration from rural areas to urban areas and then from urban areas back to rural areas. So the vision of 2030 Agenda is simply to leave no one behind. So we need to ensure that the rural people are taken into consideration in the development agenda. The SDG 4 key domains of access to education, equity in education, inclusive education, quality of education, and lifelong learning are very key fundamental pillars any discussion or dialogue and education must take into consideration. In connection with the seminar on rural education, there should be a focus on the issue of marginalization of rural populations, analyzed from the angle of access, equity, inclusion, issues in rural education.